Hey everybody, I'm Joe. We're talking about the Marvel Multiverse game today with another character building tip. Here we go. Our tip today is to care about your occupation. The core rulebook, as differentiated from the playtest rulebook, introduced the idea that your occupation and your origin really matter. They not only add flavor, which they always did, but now they provide additional traits. When your occupation is chosen right away at rank 1, it gives you a few traits for free, and that's actually really beneficial, and I want to explore that today. There are 18 occupations that are listed in the core rulebook, but you certainly could come up with others between you and your narrator. And when you have these, they give a little bit of flavor to the way that this interacts with your character's life, but they also like to give you traits for free. Please remember, when you get a trait from an occupation or an origin, this is in addition to the bonus trait you get at every rank. And these can be really beneficial. Let's take a look at the journalist occupation for just a second. It gives you a little bit of flavor and context, and then specifically gives you 3 traits: audience, connections, and pundit. The audience trait is fantastic. It allows you to utilize your audience and make an ego check to persuade the NPCs of the world to help them in actions or in gathering resources. All of a sudden, if the world is turning against your superhero, you have the ability to start fighting back and to influence the larger world of the story. That's super exciting. The audience trait pairs really well with the pundit trait, which gives you an edge when making an ego or a logic check to influence people via the media. And so all of a sudden, this is a character that is connected with the larger world and is interacting with it and is able to shape the way that they are perceived. That's actually altering the nature of the story, and it's really exciting in gameplay. The last trait is probably my favorite trait, and it's connections. Connections comes in a couple varieties. This one is sources, where you have sources of information regarding stories that are happening. I believe the connections trait is one of the best ones you can take, and it's also probably the one that your narrator really wants you to have, because that allows them to not feed you a story, feed you a line of reasoning, or feed you the idea of here's what happens next. You go out into the world, you meet with your connections, and you drive the story forward. It means that you're making the decisions that actually impact the world. The narrator is doing less, and I think that's a win for everybody. So all of a sudden, we have ways by choosing an occupation to influence the world and to drive the story forward, and it is the player doing the driving action. I'm not saying that the journalist occupation is the best one at all. What I'm saying is it is not only giving you a way to build your character, but it's giving you ways to influence the story, which I think is really powerful. Not only does the occupation give you a way of influencing gameplay, it also helps the narrator build a more nuanced and interesting story about your character. Remember, superheroes are people, and so they are not just people who show up in order to fight crime. The whole point of superhero stories is that they have lives that are outside of the uniform, and that makes them nuanced and interesting characters. When you have an occupation that is going to be exciting to explore, all of a sudden you have more interesting things that are happening. And the narrator also gets to have the fun of making it so that your personal life and your professional life come into conflict with each other, which becomes really exciting at the game table and allows you to make interesting choices. Caring about your occupation means you can utilize your time outside of combat to drive the story forward, but also experience a larger world. This is the social dynamic aspect of a TTRPG, and your occupation is actually the core of it. So that's a short little video today, but I think that this decision matters. It gives you extra traits, and it gives you a way to play the game, and it gives your narrator abilities to build larger and more interesting stories. Please care about your occupation when building your character. All right, YouTube's literally made out of buttons. I hope you press some of them, and I'll see you next time. Peace.